Hey everyone. Again, it's Robert Lee here with my good friend Matt Haas. And before I throw the intro, just a brief recap from last week, just because of how things were going with the uh, Blackout Tuesday and with the Black Lives Matter. It was just the decision I made that I just didn't think it was appropriate to have the show, just because I didn't want to take time away from important voices regarding that. So, and just a matter that with this week, um, it was a matter of just kind of reflecting from last week, which was just a matter of just trying to use the time to learn, listen, and act. And I'll just what I've said earlier, sir, try to do with other friends, just that I'll do my best to help others in terms of learning, listening, and acting accordingly. And if the people I talk with, friends, family, and colleagues, if I'm a good fit to help them out, they know where to find me. So as awkward as a transition this may be, the one of the things I thought about in terms of getting ready for this week's show was I was thinking that with a lot of people getting really geared up to create content, whether it's for their own channels and such, I thought that there may be a very good chance that for those that are trying to find ways to make a difference, especially with the movement, that they may look towards like improving their video knowledge or skills. And so, and I'm glad Matt's here because he can help me not to go a little bit too in terms of just providing just the tips of just to find rational ways as to finding what's a good fit for what you want to learn to be able to create effective video. If I talk any further, I'm going to actually go into the program. So let me hit up the title and we'll be back. I know it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So, for those that didn't catch me, I'm Robert Lee. I'm the founder and the executive video producer of Shalala Productions, where we create marketing videos as well as covering live events for God. Let me try this for the medical community as well as the educational community, with a especially in pop culture. And my friend Matt Haas here.
Hello. Yes, I have a lot of YouTube channels. One of them is All Things YouTube. So I'm happy to be here. We're talking video production, and we've got a cool topic today. And I'm anxious to jump in.
Yeah. So as I alluded to it in the beginning, it was just the idea of just providing. I got to be careful because I don't want to like accidentally say like some words you can't say on radio. Just to be careful as to the type of either workshops or courses that you're looking to sign up for or invest in terms of whether you're improving your knowledge or skill set in creating videos. And so before we got on the air, I guess I would describe it as a spirited discussion with Matt about observations I had. And so one of the things I think is just important is like before you sign up for class, just find out what it is that you want to learn and what the goal is. So if you're signing up for a video production class and you want to create documentaries, just find out what is it that you want to learn in that video production class. Is it you're looking for your skill set as to what you want to film, to edit, produce, what have you? Just make sure you have in mind as to what a specific goal that you have, and to know like what skills that you want to learn. Now, once you have that, then it's the challenge of the classes or the workshops that you want to sign up for, as to like find out like is the person or the organization is a right fit for what you want to learn. Now here's the thing that kind of I got to be careful, that kind of got my attention, is just that know what your learning style is, so that when you see what you're signing up for, is it a right match? I'll give an example. So like with I think with with the LEDA class, it was they did have like resources available, but it's with the presumption that you have a good strong internet signal, because when we took how I met Matt was we took this live stream challenge every day for the month of April, and one of the prerequisites is like you got to have a good internet signal, because if you try to live stream every day and you just have like a I almost said piss poor. Well, I actually said it. Sorry, connection. It's gonna like really throw a wrench in terms of your learning ability, because well, you want to learn how to live stream in front of the camera, but you can't do that if you're having all those problems with if your computer's stuttering, and also you're like, and you can't even get a word out because your computer won't let you. So it's little things like that. It's just knowing like what type of requisite it is, and even further as to like whether if the person or the group that's providing the workshop or the class, are they accessible, or is it more like, how do I put this? They would have other people that work with them or under them that you may be dealing with, and once you get beyond that, is it one where is it more of a, if a lack of a better word, like a hand holding thing where they show you how to do it, then you do it, or is it more like, okay, go at it and then just learn for yourself? Because if it's totally different as to how you learn, it's you're gonna find yourself pulling your hair out, which may be a good thing if you're looking to get a haircut, but that's beside the point. Sorry. But I mean,
which I totally am, haircut wise.
That's why I kind of slight going off tangent. This is why I like to wear these, just because my hair is kind of have a slight mullet effect and it's kind of curl in the back, so I need something to kind of clamp it down. So that's why you won't get the back here camera, because you don't want to see it. Okay.
Well, you're a video professional. You never shoot the back of a man's head. Isn't that like rule number one?
Well, it depends. If it's that effect where like if you're filming the person who he's talking to, so you're gonna have that kind of like that. Especially if you're going for that noir effect and you want to have that, but that's black and white, and it's just But
see, that's why you're the professional. That's I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. But wait, where was I? Oh yeah, so it's just a matter of like, in terms of teaching, learning styles, just know like what works for you, because if it turns out that how they present it doesn't match how you learn, it's gonna be a problem. So so that's something you gotta look out for, is just the teaching styles and the resources involved, because if it's something that either you don't have the means, meaning like you don't have the right resource to match up with, or if it's maybe it's a little bit more than what you can afford or expect to, then it's good to know before you sign up for it, because you can then kind of go back to it later when you have the right resources lined up, or just a matter of just the right mix for it. So
I love these tips of what to look out for when you're looking for online training. These are good things to consider. It's due diligence. You're basically saying, here's the due diligence that you have to do. Figure out what it is you're going to learn, figure out the learning style, and figure out the support that's there. And if that's a good fit for you, then go ahead and jump in.
Exactly. I mean,
place and time commitment too is probably a big factor as well. Are you
exactly
signing up for something that's going to be 30 days? Or is it, 4 hours across 30 videos type of thing?
Right. I mean, for me, because it's the pandemic, and to be frank, I lost a lot of work for it, so that I had the time to be able to invest. So it was a right fit for me. I mean, it may not be for others that are able to work from home, or maybe they have different objectives, so that it may not be an ideal situation to have that type of a time commitment. But yeah, I mean, to your point, to be able to know what's expected and to avoid that misunderstanding and managing expectation, it's good to know before you go dive right into it. And it's funny because like having that rational, a clear-headed approach is something that's awfully tough to maintain, especially when the folks are advertising the program. I know this is going to sound weird because my background's in marketing, so for me to be able to say counter to what their objective is, it feels a little bit weird. But it's just that to the concern I have for people that are signing up for, I just don't want them to feel like that they're pressured or tricked. I shouldn't say tricked, but just making a impulse type of a purchase than one that meets the needs. And there going to be some videos or some content out there that is aimed towards playing with the emotions, and whether it's how they present themselves or how the video is put together, so that
Yeah,
and
I'm so tired of the hard sell. I think that's what you're getting at. You know, when the people, you feel pressured, you feel, guilted. Of course I'll spend $57 on this. Of course I want these wonderful outcomes. Yeah, no, I don't like the high pressure tactics at all.
yeah, I mean, I got to be careful, because then that just gets me into a whole rabbit hole of my what's my beef with sales classes. Just because, to your point, it's contrary to their approach. Just because, although I understand the content they're providing as to how you land folks, if it's it, one of the things they say is that if you don't really buy in, and I hate to use the word buy in, or as to the tactic, it's not going to work. And it was hard for me because of one of the classes I had sat in on it was contrary to like how I would try to conduct it, or one where it was very like an out of body experience, because it's almost like I'm like my own TV analysis of observing how the course is done, just because I'm kind of breaking down like, okay, this is why they're presenting, because they're trying to like either hit this trigger for this person's emotion, or they're trying to elicit this type of response. And I would try to practice in it, and it didn't felt right, just because there's that type of like ulterior motive where it's more like they're focusing on like what's it for them than what they're trying to offer to the person they talk to. And so even though they may try to justify or explain it, it still didn't sit well. So that it was, to your point, you don't want to fall prey to these types of pressure tactics, or these Jedi mind tricks of these things. So it's kind of going off subject, but not so much. It's just a matter that just be careful as to like the things that they're using, as to how they're explaining why they're trying to present themselves as someone that can address a need. I mean, it really boils down to is like why you're signing up for the class in the first place, and what you want is. And at the risk of sounding like Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank, is like, everything else is white noise. So it's just a matter to be careful. Is the Cliff Note version what I'm trying to say. And before I start yammering on, because I could go on this all day as to like things to watch out for and stuff. And the bottom line is just that the last thing I'm trying to tell people to do is like, avoid this guy because he's a blankety blank, or this guy's is sleazy as heck, or this guy's slimy. It's just more like just providing you the baseline of just things to look at before you sign up for, so that way you can make your own choices. Because for lack of a better way to explain it, it's just that the more knowledge you have, the more you'll be at a better position in making an informed decision. So yeah, as Matt says, it's a matter of just doing your homework. And speaking of which, I feel a little bad just because I know like you've already started creating your own content, Matt, of providing a course, and I feel like I'm getting ready to tee up like, oh, how's he going to answer these questions? But Matt, I would love to hear like not only again how things are progressing, the courses you're offering, but just some of the things that you're doing as to try to avoid these types of challenges that the prospective students may have when they like check out your classes.
Well, I have addressed every point that you've brought, every warning that you've brought up. I have factored that in to what I'm doing. And I did build a course. The course is How to Be Awesome on YouTube. That's the name of the course, but it's really how to make searchable videos people watch. Because when you're talking about YouTube, that's what it comes down to. You have to make videos People have to find them. That's kind of what searchable means. And people have to watch them. And those are the ingredients. And then how to grow an audience. That's sort of the marketing side of it as well. But I put it all under the umbrella of Be Awesome on YouTube. And that's the name of the course. And, we'll go down point by point. The teaching style, well, prospective students can learn all about my teaching style because 3 of the 4 chapters are free on YouTube. So you can watch my lessons on YouTube and see my teaching style. And if that's for you, that's for you. If not, it's not for you. Now, just the cliff notes of my teaching style is I have a technology degree and I have a teaching skills as well. I was a evening instructor for Adobe Illustrator and some other desktop programming apps. And so I can take complex technical concepts and explain them in plain English. So that's a good benefit, at least for me as the instructor. And then I'm usually a lively instructor where I'll get excited about topics that excite me, and I will straight up tell you if something's bad or what to look out for. I won't pull any punches. It's straight to the point. And again, 3 of the 4 chapters. Now, and within those 3 chapters that are free, there's 30 videos. So you can watch 30 videos of mine on how to be awesome on YouTube. And if you like my teaching style, go for it. I have everything broken out as far as my teaching style goes. Everything's written down. Every video has, they call them the chapter links. They're the timestamps. And if you click a timestamp, you'll go to the interior. The playhead will jump to that section of a video. I usually talk about 6, 7, 8 concepts in a 5-minute video. And if you only want that middle one, you click it, you go right. So everything's written down. I have charts and graphs and screen grabs of settings that I have all documented. I'm a visual person. I graduated with a design degree, so I speak visually. So that's the teaching style, and that's a way you can get a heads up if you want to see it for free. But I do have all of the videos on my website, and then the website will contain the premium content that will be a small fee for. So, I'm kind of doing it opposite. I'm like, here it is. Here's all the good stuff. You get, 3 of the 4 chapters. And if you like that and you want the 4th chapter, go for it. And frankly, everything I'm giving away for free is enough to be successful. I mean, making great videos that are findable, that people watch, that's really, you can build an empire just off of that knowledge. But the premium chapter is going to be how to get more eyeballs on your stuff, how to properly market your stuff, and what to do inside the interface to see how well your stuff's performing. There's a lot of data inside YouTube. And frankly, you can ignore most of it. I'll tell you exactly what gauges to watch, and not only what to watch, but what to do with your analysis. And then, so that's kind of the way I'm going. I'm not doing it where I need X amount of students to break even, because when you start doing these courses, guess what? The course owner has to do a large outlay of cash monthly, because these courses are on platforms, learning platforms that you rent. They're a service that the course owner has to pay for. And I mean, to have a good course, it needs to be like $100 a month. And then to make up that $100 a month, you've got to stack it with students. To find students after you burn through your friends and family, you've got to start advertising, probably with Facebook ads. So then you've got $200 in Facebook ads a month, plus $100 that you're paying for the course platform. So that's the first $300 worth of students. It's all goes into overhead. So it's it will be a monthly grind every month going forward. And then, you know, if you don't have enough students to equal your overhead, well, then you're losing money. So it's a fun business, being a course author and being a course owner of a course, but it is a business. And I thankfully 2 years ago, Tim Schmoyer, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He has the Video Creators channel. He's a YouTube expert, and he was doing
was he on Lynda? Was he on like lynda.com? Or
no. Tim Schmoyer is a YouTuber.
Okay.
And he's got a big, you know, how to be awesome on YouTube channel. And he did a thing where he's like, look, I moved over all of my learning stuff off of whatever it was onto this platform. If you want to make a class, I'm going to, you know, do a 20-minute video showing you how I use this platform. And at the end, if you want it, there's an offer. So I got in on the offer, which is free. Like, I don't pay anything for it. Now it's stripped down. Like, I don't have all the bells and whistles. For example, the URL is not like learn.allthingsyoutube.com. Like, I would love it to be branded with but so I have to use, you know, their non-branded website. But since I'm not paying any money for the learning platform, I'm not under any pressure to fill this thing up with students. So basically what I'm trying to say is, my angle is, if you want it, it's there, take it. And 3 of the 4 chapters are free. And if you want to pay for the premium content, do it. If you don't, that's fine too. So I'm probably going to be the only course author that's taking a very light touch approach to this business model, where it can sort of run on its own. And then to your other point, Robert, you were like, well, what kind of support am I going to get? Well, I've thought through that.
All right, let's hear it.
4 levels of support with what I'm offering.
Okay.
And one of them's absolutely free. So I have a Facebook group, and you can join the Facebook group for free, and you can get support from other people in the Facebook group. I'm not guaranteed you'll have access to me directly through that Facebook, although you probably will, at least for a short while. And then I have a $5 option. So there's a free option for support and a low $5 a month option on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon supporter on patreon.com/allthingsyoutube, I will directly answer your questions that are posted there on Patreon. I have the third option I'm still working on. I'm not ready to talk about that. It's basically going to be, you give me some high-level business goals, and you give me your URL of your channel. You give me your channel location, and I'll do an analysis and give you a report, what I found. And the report's going to have remediation steps on what to do different. So that could be like, I don't know, $40 option. I haven't priced that one out yet. And then there's one-on-one consulting. If you need, you know, the fire hose, direct access to me, I'm thinking, you know, maybe 3 or 4 Skype videos or Google Hangouts a month. And for a month, like, I will give you direct one-on-one consulting. And that would be a premium option. Probably several $100s would be for that. So that's what I'm offering. You know, it's, you know, 3 of the 4 chapters are completely free. You can watch them on YouTube if you want, or you can go over to my website. And then I have free support option, a $5 support option, something I'm working on that's a little more than that, and then one-on-one consulting. So that's everything. That's the teaching style. That is the preview that you can get, and I'm giving almost all of it away. And if I catch a few $15 here and there, that's great. If I catch my Patreon goes up a little bit, that's great too. I'm just saying, here's all of this value. I hope you like it. If it really, really helps you, you know, consider throwing me a little bit, but that's totally optional. So that's my approach. And I think that, from what I've seen, is very generous. I'm hoping it is. because I'm on lockdown too. This is what I did on lockdown. I banged away videos for this course. It's been a lot of fun.
It's pretty cool. So with the courses you have, how do I ask this?
The course,
So
one course, singular. One course.
One course singular, 30 videos. I it's like 30 courses. So with one course, how long from the person when a person signs up for it will it take for them to go through the information? Do you think?
I estimated 4 hours. It's not 4 hours of me talking on video, but I do have hyperlinks out where you can go on field trips and do some exercises outside the course.
So this wouldn't be like a boot camp or a workshop. It's more like here's the courses. Should take about 4 hours. Some may take longer. Some may take short, depending on how fast they or how fast they can assimilate the information and everything.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's do the math here. So let me break out the calculator. So I have.
Oh, while Matt's breaking out the calculator, I just want to say hi to Rob. Good to see you, Rob. Well, I mean, I'm not.
It's an hour. It's an hour and a half. I speak on camera for an hour and a half. Put it that way. So over that 30 videos, it's about that long. But you really should digest the material that I'm throwing at you, because I was a lot of worksheets, a lot of print materials. Oh, and I also have buying guides. I broke down all the gear, because part of making video is gear. So I have gear broken out for everything. I have, if you're just if you're making vlogs, I have the gear for that, like where you're out and about shooting yourself. I have gear for if you're making how-to videos where you're mostly filming something else, and I have gear for if you're live streaming. And yeah, I learned a lot about audio. I mean, I knew a lot to begin with, but when I do anything like this, I throw myself into it, and I've researched everything. And now I have my to-do list for new equipment I need to buy just got larger. Because I'm like, ooh, I want to make my audio even better.
Hey, here's a question, just because what for audio, like when you were learning the different either gear or the technical aspect of it, do you find yourself prefer to be able to find the information and be able to marinate in your head and digest it, or you more like to bounce things off other like audio professions in terms of trying to figure out problems or just trying to...
My relationship with audio gear is very problematic. I had so many problems. I've invested way more than I should have, because I just didn't know any better. And I had a lot of trouble trying to figure this out on my own. A lot of it stemmed from the camera I had a bogus audio input jack. Like, it was faulty. Like, it didn't work very well. And I didn't know that. So I was buying every adapter. I went through 7 hot shoe mics to try and get, none of them worked. And they didn't work because the products were bad. It didn't work because the jack was busted. So that's where I got this monstrosity. This is the Heil PR40. This is a $330 microphone, over $1,000 after you put all the accoutrements, because this thing's $100. This thing was $80. The stand that goes on was $100. I made my own stand out of wood. Can you see? Like, that's out of wood. Okay. I didn't want to spend another $100 just on a little desk stand for it. Anyway, that's the reason I bought this, because I was like, I cannot get good audio. I even tried to take the microphone you have, the Rode microphone that you have.
Yep.
I bought one of those that has the hot shoe mount on top of the camera, because it's omnidirectional, or it's unidirectional. It doesn't pick up the room sound. It only picks up what's in front of you.
Right.
And that's what I wanted, because in my environment, I did a lot of filming in my wood shop. I have Awesome Wood Things as a YouTube channel. Yep. And down in the basement where my wood shop is, the plumbing sounds happen and the furnace kicks on. It's a very noisy environment. So I tried to rig that hot shoe mic into my computer with all kinds of wrong methods. And, I was taking it into XLR and then from XLR into something else and then from something else into use. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, so no. So to answer your question, I spent way too much money on audio solutions that I didn't have to spend because I didn't know any better. I wish I had this course I created. I wish future Matt could have talked to past Matt and made better buying discussions with myself.
So that would be the next sequel to Back to the Future Part 4 or 5 or something like that.
Well, Bill and Ted's. Did you see the trailer? I think the trailer dropped on Bill. They're doing a sequel. Bill and Ted.
It cracks me up because they said that I think the second film was done like 25 years ago, and like the time between the first and the second was like about 3 or 4 years. Like, well, that's a big time difference.
Yeah, it's midlife crisis version now.
Actually, I think that's what they said. Is it has a little bit of that as a part of the plot there. But I'm like, oh man, I mean,
I love Keanu. Keanu Reeves is an amazing actor and an amazing person. He's a very interesting dude. But anyway.
I mean, it's funny to hear people think of him more as John Wick than Theodore Logan.
Wow,
I forget what. Never mind. But anyway, yeah, it should be fun. Although I'm wondering if it's going to be one of those things where they just release it direct to like online, or when things open up, they'll actually see it in the theaters. So
AMC lost over $2 billion with the lockdown. With a B, billion. They have to open up. If they're not open in July, the company's going under. And Hollywood's freaking out. They're like, well, we need our movie theaters.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could see like what was it? Well, CBS, they still have their live stream platform or whatever it is. So
CBS All Access.
Yeah, so it's almost like the other stations are like trying to get.
Those aren't going to save anyone.
Although I find it funny that NBC is trying to come up with their own, and then ABC just partnered up with Hulu, and they just decided to just migrate over there. I'm like, oh well, we'll see how that goes. But
well, I mean, the technology's out there to make your own platform. Like you can spin up another Netflix. Rent 12 developers and spin up some AWS hardware on Amazon's cloud, and you can have yourself one of those things. It's just the business model. You got to have the customers, and that model. It's not about technology. It's about the content that you own and the customers you have, and that's why a company probably linked up with Hulu, because that's the hard thing to solve.
Although this new one, I don't know if it's like a few months ago, it's called Quibi, and I think
that's going nowhere.
Although what's interesting is part of the appeal that they're trying to get all these high profile celebrities, as you will, is just that they have more control of the content, as to like, I forget how they explain it, but it's like they have like some control of their ownership as to how it's being distributed. So
it sounds good on paper, and it's got the investment. They've got the seed money, more seed money than they know what to do with. It's just no one's using it. It's going to go down as one of the biggest tech failures if it doesn't turn around. I'm not saying it can't turn around, but the way it's looking now, it was dead on arrival.
Although I was kind of had a little trouble trying to find things for my brother's birthday in May, so I got him a subscription to Quibi. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is how they have the end user in mind for viewing it. So it's one where like you could see it vertically as well as horizontally, and the way they configure it is such a way that it doesn't take away from the viewing pleasure, for lack of a better word. So typically whenever you see the videos in vertical, it's pretty much everything's in dead center. But some of the videos that I've seen that they would try to convert, especially like in like the Instagram platform, it hasn't been done well, where it's like it's all shot all over the place. But with Quibi, it's more dead on, so you don't lose the viewing of it as if you had it a landscape or horizontal. So
It
I
certainly
forget.
has that nice, unique feature, and that feature certainly does have benefits. Will it survive as a platform? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be enough.
But I can easily see it, like if someone like Netflix or Hulu are chomping the bit to buy them out so they can have that technology.
Well, theft between those companies is rampant anyway. They'll just, well, look at Instagram. Instagram just stole everything that it wanted, from everything else. What was it? Periscope? They just rolled it right into it's like, oh yeah, that's ours now, and they just wrote their own code for it. And the lawyers just battled it out. Yeah, it's a harsh business.
I thought we weren't allowed to say Periscope in your presence, so
I don't care.
It's like, but yeah, and then then Facebook buys Instagram, and it's like, well, it's like the bigger fish eating the small fish kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like you have to have a war chest of patents. So when you get sued for violating patents, and you will, you've got to say, oh, well, we're going to countersue you for this. Let's drop it. That's why people are buying up these patents, not because they need a patent. It's just because they're fending off future litigation. Apple never bothered with patents, and they got smacked so many times. They're like, all right, now it's time to start buying up patents. And then they went on a patent buying spree, and now they can fight back.
That's not like they don't have the
now.
money.
This is 20 years ago. Steve Jobs was famous for saying, "Oh, this company's got to litigate instead of innovate." Like that was his little catchphrase there, because he got beat up so much in court. Anyway,
well, that does rhyme.
Steve Jobs had a few zingers.
I just try to imagine if that they would have like a billboard for that. It'd be like, I don't know.
Oh, it's a sad reality. See, I follow the technology news, the world technology news, and what these big companies are doing, and it's a miserable existence. I mean, you can't do anything. Like one click buy, like one click shopping, that's owned by Amazon. If you put that in your app, Amazon's going to sue you.
Unless you say it's 2-click buy.
Well, exactly. Everything's patent. The little rumble thing in the game controllers for your Xbox or your PlayStation, that little the haptic feedback, that's patented.
See, maybe I'm not now. I'm going to sound like really like grandpa. But what was the whole purpose of the whole rumble thing? Is it just for the gameplay,
because when the grenade blows up on your head, you want to feel the rumble.
See, like when that happened, I'm like, oh crap, did I break it or something like that? And be like,
you get used to it. Come on, it's like it happens once. It's the first time. It's like, oh, okay, and then you figure it out pretty quick.
See, the thing is, you don't know my how do I put this? My charm with technology, where it just anything that could go sideways. So I see the whole thing on burn. I'm like, what?
Well,
The
fun little anecdote is Sony PlayStation 3, when all the haptic rumble things was all the rage, didn't have the haptic feedback in their controllers. It was a feature that was missing. Do you know why? Because Sony didn't want to pay the licensing fee to the patent holder, who wasn't them. And then the fans finally cried out. They're like, this is stupid. You don't have the rumble. And they finally broke down and wrote a check. And now the PlayStations have the little rumble because it's patent. Everything's patent.
Rob says that he felt the same way. It got annoying, that rumbling all the time. See, for me, like when the PlayStation 3 came out, I was more interested that you could actually watch Blu-rays, because I didn't have to buy a Blu-ray player, because you could play a game and watch a
I saw the writing on the wall before most people did. I'm like, physical media is so over. I even had, a conversation, because they're like, but I want the DVD. I'm like, why? So I have it. I'm like, what's the difference? So if you stream a movie and the movie is on your television and the pixels of your television are the movie, what's the difference if it came off of a DVD or if it streamed down the internet? Well, I guess nothing. I'm like, bingo. Now we're on the same page.
However, for me, it's like, it's all about generation because like my my I don't know how to put this, but my pop has a little bit of a hard problem understanding streaming. So he prefers DVD. So there's the how do I put this? The mature audience that still prefers the physical because they're able to put something in there. Plus, maybe they like a little exercise, but that's another point. But yeah, I mean, but to your point, yeah, I mean, I know like in theory, people should be moving away from the physical media, but there's those slow adapters or those that just
my brother, you think I'm a geek. I have an older brother and a younger brother, but he was on the message boards before the internet. He would go on the dial-up message boards, and he's like, "Oh yeah, songs are going to come through the phone." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh yeah, probably 10 years. It's like they're going to since the modems use the phone, he just thought that the way you're going to buy songs is a phone because a song could be a computer file." And then I'm like, yeah, ahead of your time. +1 for the Blu-ray player and PS3. Yeah.
BBs all the way.
all the way, says Rob Thomas. Yeah, bulletin board systems. That's
Oh,
nuts.
okay. I was thinking BB pellets and BB guns. So
no,
sorry.
BBS. Come on.
Well, sometimes like if you take one a little bit to the noggin a little bit too often,
Robert,
you get a little bit forgetful.
We got to get you some technology boosts. I think in working with you over the show planning, I've identified a few areas where you can get a little bit, you can embrace technology a little bit more. Not a lot, just a little bit more, because you're pretty tech savvy as it is.
It's not so much about embracing; it's just like how much of I can retain. Because I know you're big on Google Docs, but oh my god, for whatever reason, I have a hard time with it. And you're not the only person. I'm telling you this because other people have. Hey, why don't you send my Google? I was like, well, I not that I don't want to. I just have a little bit of problem, and be like, all right, well, email to me. Okay.
Collaboration is the single word as to why you should be on Google Docs.
Which is I'm all for, but if it gets to be a problem, if I'm like, how does this work again?
How's it work? You go to drive.google.com. It's right there. Your files are right there on the browser, just like they are in a folder on your computer.
To my earlier point, you know how I mentioned like anything I have with technology can go sideways in weird ways?
Jeez.
Hey, I tell you, people say, "Oh, I'm a Mac lover." No, I have the same problem with Macs and PC. I mean, hell, I'm probably the only guy that can give the genius people fits because I'll give them a problem. They'd be like, "Can't you reboot it?" Not when you have the spinning wheel there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hear you. I struggle too with certain things.
Yeah, I mean, they know it's a problem where if I mention I see the bomb a lot and not referring it to a musical sense, but just in terms of like the icon that you would see on the monitor. Well, wait, it's like they went for the Macs. They went from seeing the bomb to now like a spinning wheel.
Yeah.
To
we used to call it bomb because it was like cartoon cylinder bomb with the little dynamite, or not with the little like firing thread. What do you call that? The fuse. It had the fuse on it. It bomb and it would bomb. We call bomb, and that was a very Mac term because you would crash on Windows, but you would bomb. It just sort of lingered.
Bomb crash. It's all the same to me. I mean, it's like spy versus spy in this case, but I mean, I still have the Mac SC that I use as a footstool, but that's another story. But anyway,
throw out your Macs. Who throws a Mac in the garbage? You put it in the garage forever.
Or I just donate or recycle, or it's. No. I mean, I think my one of my cousins still have their dot matrix printer still kicking around the attic there, so it's See, you know what it is. If I tell someone else, they'd be like, "Huh?"
Time to move on. Yeah, the dot matrix printer. Yeah, it would send one line of code to the machine, and it would cache that one line or one line of text to the machine. And once it was cached, it would print it out. Then it would erase its memory, and you would send the second line. The solution to the spinning wheel. the command prompt. Time to drop into a shell. That's very Windows speak right there.
I thought you were gonna say like what was that? Oh no, that's a different movie. I better not mention that one because that's just going down a different path. But yeah, Windows, Mac. I have the same problem with any platform. So the only thing I haven't tried is a Linux yet. So
Linux.
I'm sure they said Linux. I meant Linux.
Yeah.
See,
Linux.
I can't pronounce anything. Yeah, I mean,
Linux is good for servers. Don't try and do desktop publishing on a Linux machine. I mean, unless you're into that, it's perfectly capable.
But, see, I just had this image of just trying to fit a square peg in a round hole when you said that.
Well, to Linux's credit, they have some interesting names for their operating system, like Frenzy Fawn, and I don't know, someone's on the creative side naming their operating systems fun, mythical animals. But
of creative, I mean, you did come up with the logo up there, so that's which is really awesome. Thank you. I can't reach over there, so I mean,
yep. Wait. That has a similar that font in verbose is the same font I use for Mind Equals Blown, which is the show I do on Thursdays.
Ah, okay.
It'll flip. It's one of these cards here. It says Mind. There it is. Well, I'm looking on the replay. There it is. Mind Equals Blown.
Okay.
MIND equal. Yeah, that's the same as verbose Wednesday.
Okay.
Anyway,
but. All right. Well, so to recap, wait. All right. If you sign up for Matt's program there, pretty much of the things that I've talked about earlier, just pretty well. So it's just a matter of just like making sure that that's the course that you want to take to be able to improve your dropping knowledge in all things related to YouTube.
Yeah. Allthingsyoutube.com. That's where you get it. Press the free trial button on allthingsyoutube.com. Be yours. 3 of the 4 chapters. Go get it.
And maybe what we can do is like we'll drop the link in the description so people can check it out there. So and then I forgot. I've been listening to too many ads there. I was gonna say drop the promo code blah blah blah. I'm like, wait a minute. Matt didn't give me any promo code.
There's no promo code. There's no cost. It's all free. Just go get it.
There you go, folks. No promo code needed. See? And that's I gotta be careful. I almost like started going off on a rant about marketing stuff. Sorry. Anyway, before I do that, so just to recap, we'll drop a link in the description for folks that'd be interested to sign up for our Matt's courses there. And and earlier it's just a matter of just providing just some general tips of things to look out for when you sign up for programs or checking out the workshops to help you improve your video knowledge or skills. And so that's about it. And oh shoot, I kind of forgot. I
like on the show if you haven't already. That helps out the show.
Thank you. And I forgot to mention earlier that for those that are still interested to take advantage of the free live streaming video offer for those that are just looking to find ways to help out the hospitals and the medical responder, just feel free to drop me an email at robertl@shalalaproductions.com. Or I think I actually have a link to. It's here somewhere. Hang on, folks. It's there. It is. It is a long link, folks. So I'll try to provide it in the description as well. But if you go to the website shalalaproductions.com, in our news and blog feature, the very first blog article is a description about the offer, so you can check it there too. So because I forgot that was a mouthful, and I forgot that. Well, actually, if I try to put a bit.ly, it would look kind of confusing. So, but yeah, so that's the show, and I know like in the past I've kidded about having problems about wrapping up, so I'm trying this on for size. So I'm Robert, and this is
I'm Matt.
And thank you. I can never get the fingers right. Sorry, folks. And you've been watching Verbose Wednesday. So stay safe, everyone. Oh, I gotta find the end credit. I don't want to. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Oh, that didn't work. Sorry, guys. I'll get it right, guys.